is whether or not you can criminalize political speech, or whether or not they're protected by the First Amendment. That's the motion in play here. Brett, do I have that right?
Our position, President Trump's position is...
You do have that right, but the strength of the DA's argument is actually that this is premature. And this is why the criminal law is it's so difficult to bring a motion to dismiss. It's not set up to handle these kinds of motions very well. What you have is an opportunity for a grand jury to review a case, issue an indictment. If that indictment is issued, then the process for dismissal would come after the evidence is presented. And that's the difficulty that Trump's lawyers are finding themselves in now, is that historical and precedent, has always been that criminal law waits until the facts are flushed out. It's not fair in a lot of instances because the power of the prosecutor is so substantial that they can pursue charges knowing that they don't necessarily have the facts to back them up. But you don't get your opportunity to argue that most often until the facts have been presented.
Okay, so the David Schaefer is involved in this, and the audience is probably not familiar with him. He was the Georgia Republican Party chair during 2020, and he was arguing that he could replace the electors, and he was challenging that in courts. If I have that right, if I don't, please correct me. But wasn't that what Ronna McDaniel was arguing on Meet the Press this past Sunday in the state of Michigan? Because what she was saying is that they had a legal challenge in Michigan as well to challenge the electors in that state. Is it apples to apples?
Well, it is, Bill, and I found it fascinating that the county attorney, you may have heard him make reference to the pattern. The pattern is the part of the racketeering charge, a pattern of corruption or criminal activity that has to be presented. And he's throwing that in because the indictment itself is incredibly weak in terms of its treatment of a pattern of criminal behavior. When you have, folks like Ronna, or you have, in Georgia and other states, you have individuals suggesting that the electors need to be replaced, that they don't have it right, that there's fraud that's occurred. And then they challenge it in court. That's very difficult to say that's a pattern of corruption or criminal activity when they're doing it through the court system.
Got it. Brett, stand by, okay? We're going to squeeze in a quick commercial break.